Going to the movies, it used to be a whole thing, right? A weekly ritual, the only real way to see a new film. But now, with streaming services everywhere and giant TVs in our living rooms, you gotta wonder, are we watching the final credits roll for the cinema itself?
Okay, let's just start with one number because it really says it all. Since the pandemic started, America has lost almost 6,000 movie screens. And look, that's not a small dip. That is a massive change in the entire entertainment landscape. And a decline like that has industry veterans, well, they're sounding the alarm. Analysts like Doug Kreutz are warning that theaters are caught in what they call a negative feedback loop. Basically, fewer big movies means smaller audiences, which then leads to even more theaters closing down. It's this vicious cycle that begs the question, how on earth can cinema survive this?
So first, let's really dig into the numbers and see just how deep this crisis goes. The financial hit was, well, it was staggering. In just 2 years, the domestic box office revenue completely cratered. It dropped from nearly $12 billion down to just over $2 billion. I mean, that's a knockout blow that a lot of theaters just couldn't get back up from.
And you can see this apathy playing out in the real world. So take the re-release of Trainwreck, which was a pretty popular comedy. It earned an average of just $16 per theater. That's like one person buying a ticket and maybe a small popcorn. Just imagine one person sitting all alone in that big empty auditorium. That's how tough it's gotten to get people in the door. Of course, none of this happened in a vacuum. We all know the main character in this story. The big disruptor, the streaming revolution. It has completely changed how we watch everything, right from our own couches. Do you remember when a movie like Titanic could be in theaters for almost a whole year? Yeah, those days are long gone. The exclusive theatrical window, that special time when a film is only in theaters, has shrunk like crazy. What used to be an average of 70 days has been slashed to, in some cases, as little as 17 days before you can just rent it at home. So you've got this clear conflict, right? Theaters are promising this big, immersive, communal event, but it comes with a pretty high price tag for tickets and snacks. And streaming just comes back with unbeatable convenience and affordability. And for a lot of people, the choice is easy. Over 75% of students now say they'd just rather watch from home. So is it all doom and gloom? Are theaters just giving up? Not so fast. They're fighting back, and they're completely rewriting their playbook to try and become a place you just have to go to again. Their main strategy is what you could call the experience upgrade. Theaters are trying to be more than just a place that shows a movie. They're creating a premium night out. We're talking about those super comfy recliner seats, gourmet food, beer and wine service, and even special events like screenings of classic films. All things you just can't replicate on your couch. And you know what? It's working. Remember that sad story about the Trainwreck re-release? Okay, now contrast that with the 10th anniversary IMAX re-release of Interstellar. It brought in over $38 million. It just goes to show you, when you mix nostalgia with a genuinely spectacular premium experience, people will show up. But hey, reinventing yourself isn't just about comfy seats and fancy popcorn. It's about finding totally new ways to connect with audiences and get them invested before a single ticket is even sold. Okay, you have to check out what a company like Angel Studios is doing. They've completely flipped the script. Their audience literally gets to vote on which movies get made, and they can even invest their own money to help produce them. So by the time the movie actually hits theaters, these people aren't just moviegoers, they're stakeholders. You've got this passionate, built-in audience from day one. So does this crazy idea of letting the audience call the shots actually work? Oh yeah. It has generated over $300 million in box office revenue. That's a pretty powerful statement about the value of building a real community. And they're not the only ones thinking outside the box. Another innovator is Mubi. They do this brilliant thing where they blend the world of streaming with the movie theater. So they're a streaming service, right? But if you're a subscriber, they give you a free ticket to a hand-picked movie in a real theater every single week. It's a genius way to build a community of true cinema lovers. And, sometimes finding an audience is about serving the one that's already there, just better. A recent report found this huge opportunity. 82% of moviegoers with disabilities said they would absolutely go to the movies more often if theaters just did a better job of meeting their accessibility needs. And this isn't just about doing the right thing, it's just smart business. This is an underserved market that holds $21 billion in discretionary income. By making some simple improvements, from making their websites more accessible to having better seating options, theaters could tap into a really loyal and powerful group of customers.
Okay, so what does all this mean for the future? Well, it means the old rules are pretty much gone. And what we're seeing now is a new, dynamic power struggle between the studios, the streamers, and, well, us, the audience.
Get this. The whole system is even starting to run in reverse. Picture this. A movie like K-pop Demon Hunters becomes a massive hit on Netflix. The demand online is so huge that Netflix actually releases it into theaters for special sing-along events, and it makes an extra $18 million in a single weekend. That's the new reality we're living in. Audience demand on streaming can actually create a theatrical run.
And ultimately, that's what this all boils down to. At the end of the day, we, the viewers, we're the ones holding all the cards. It doesn't matter if a film comes out in a giant theater or on a streaming service, it's our attention and our wallets that decide if it's a success or a failure. Look, theaters are adapting, they're upgrading, they're trying to create unforgettable experiences, and are rolling out the red carpet like never before. So the only question left, and it's a question for all of us, is a pretty simple one. Will we be there to see it?